What's up, YouTube? Today we are recreating the legendary Delay Lama VST plugin. Let's dive in and have a look. So the Delay Lama was a legendary plugin because it recreated that kind of really synthetic kind of monk vocal type of sound that became particularly popular within like early 90s and early 2000s sidetrons. The problem is that I believe it is still only a 32-bit plugin, so getting it to work, in more modern DAWs might be an issue. The cool thing is it's a very, very, very simple concept, and we can actually recreate this in almost any VST plugin nowadays. I want to talk you guys through how we do that. I've actually done various, tutorials on this kind of sound, but nothing as simple as just recreating the sound itself. So let's look at what parameters are involved. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the XY pad in the middle here, this does a kind of formant filter, one of the parameters of a formant filter, like the actual vowel, and this does the pitch. So you pitch bend and a vowel. This is the glide of the pitch bend. This is the amount of delay on the signal, and then this is the throat size of a formant filter. And it's just a saw wave that gets run through a formant filter with these different parameters applied. So we can use this theory and apply it to any synth that we have. So today I'm going to choose Vital because it's free and I'm sure you guys will be able to follow along. Well, there is a free version. Anyway, I've got a track here that I've been working on. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, find a spot and solo just like the kick, bass, and percussion. And we're going to recreate a Delay Lama synth to fit in here. So I've got Vital loaded up here, and let's look at how we would create this. So, like I said, the idea of the plugin is pretty simple. We have a formant filter on a saw wave. So just before diving into like the filter and everything, I just want to outline another important thing about the sound is that it is monophonic. So that means you have the ability to glide between the notes as opposed to playing chords, so single notes at a time. So how we set that is using the voices setting over here in Vital. Let's set that down to 1. So only one voice is allowed at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this to the last macro because it's on the bottom right, and we can just call this glide. So in Vital, how the formant filters work is this bottom amount here. This basically controls the vowel. So let's say, for example, this would be like the one of the parameters on the XY pad on Delay Lama. I'm not going to assign the other parameter, which would be like the pitch, because we could just do that with the MIDI. And then to get full motion out of it, let's put this parameter all the way down and then set this all the way up. So we got that full sweep. And then the throat size would be this parameter at the top here. So let's just say all the way down, let's put that there, and let's just say, call this size. The last parameter would be the delay, which we actually don't need to assign, I guess, because it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of thing. With Vital, how I like to set it up is a 1/8 dotted, set this to ping pong, and use this kind of filter to filter out the low end, just so that like the delay echoes in the mids and tops. And then let's just go mix all the way down and assign this to the mix at 50% or so. Just call this delay, and we should have something very close to what we're looking for. I often like to detune the oscillator here rather than just doing it in the actual MIDI, just because I'll often play, when I'm cycling through presets, I'll be playing in the same register and I don't want to actually change up and down in octaves to get that perfect sound, if you know what I'm saying. So to get some extra like movement out of the filters, I like to assign this resonance, but it's just basically like a offset, as well as the spread to one to the vowel and one to the size, just so you got a little bit more kind of like control over the parameter of the sound. Okay, let's put in a MIDI here and we can come back to the sound. And then another little trick is like once you've set up these two macros, this is like an extra thing, you don't have to do this, but instead of controlling them both like independently, what you can do is set the vowel to control the other macro so that you can just modulate one and you get an even further range of control over the sound. So you can do this like either forwards or backwards, so you can get even like varying different sounds out of the kind of movements, if you know what I mean. So once I've created the sound, I like to sequence like pitch modulations and stuff to create these variations, to create like squelchiness in that sound. So what I want to do is let's just set an LFO to modulate the pitch. Let's just go enter value and say we only want to do a value of like plus 12, so it only goes up by an octave. So let's start by default with just a flat LFO, and then we can go set this to the triangle mode and then set this to sine or a curve. So what happens now is if we hold control, it's going to draw in these curve shapes like this. Check this out. Okay, so this we want to set to sync. Can Dalai Lama do that? Nope. Another nice thing that I like to do is to use distortion and set this to downsample mode and then drive it up a little bit and then mix it down a little bit or quite a bit. This creates almost like a digital vocal type of, almost like vocal synthesis type of texture. To be honest, Dalai Lama wishes it sounded this freaking good. This sounds way better. And just the kind of architecture and the ability to modulate things in ways that Dalai Lama only wishes it could do. I still don't understand why people want the plugin. But that being said, maybe people just don't understand that it's as simple as a saw wave through a formant filter. Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to be uploading these presets to my Patreon for all my $5 supporters. So if you want to know what that's all about, check out the link in the description. If you haven't yet, then consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.